morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Miriam Goto. The show is Good Morning Africa, and here is the latest headlines from the leading newspapers in Kenya. We start with the Daily Nation. The main headline: the smoking gun in Raila's petition. Claims of a hacker hub that intercepted photos of results forms, edited them and then uploaded them onto the IEBC results portal, and confusion over how many Kenyans voted on August 9th forms the basis of several affidavits sworn to support Raila Odinga's case against Chebukati and William Ruto. This is not just about process or access, but the validity of the data. That story is on page 2 and 3 on the Daily Nation. How we plotted Uhuru's downfall, spilling the beans a month after President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga reached a truce in 2018 to end a political crisis arising from the disputed 2017 presidential vote. Secret meetings that would culminate in the toppling of Kenyatta as the Mount Kenya kingpin got underway in Naivasha. Rigathi Gachagua attended the meetings and reveals the details of the plot. Bad timing. I believe so. The story is on page 6 and 7 on the Daily Nation, and we shall look at those details. Ministry denies swine flu outbreak. Health Ministry and county officials in Nakuru have differed over an outbreak of swine flu in the country. Ministry officials said yesterday that none of the samples that taken to the influenza reference laboratory following the Monday announcement turned positive for swine flu. That story is on page 8. Scramble for limited junior high class slots. That story is on the back page of the Daily Nation. We look at the Standard newspaper. Inside Raila's evidence, from questioning the figures and the authenticity of Forms 34A to claiming that President-elect William Ruto failed to attain the 50% plus one threshold. As Azimio leader, Raila Odinga's petition seeks to overturn the results or have the election called in his favor. We come through the evidence and bring you insightful details. That story is on page 3, 4, 6, and 7 on the Standard. CS Magoha now wants caning back in schools. What? That story is on page 8. But I know there's some schools which are still exercising the corporal punishment anyways. And so, so that story is on page 8. Another win for tea workers. That is on the county pages on page 21. Equity Bank profit hits 24 billion Kenya shillings. That is on page 24. And Red Devils hammer Liverpool. That is on the sport page on page 40. And pending bills headache for new governors. Page 10. Intense lobbying for county speaker post. That is on page 14. The Star newspaper, the main headline: why Chebukati numbers don't add up. That is according to Raila, says Forms 34A issued at polling stations contradict those uploaded in portal. The story is on page 4 and 5. And the Star has illustrated, and we shall look at some of those figures there according to what Azimio has as part of its evidence of a bungled election. And then we look at Kibwana ditches Azimio joins Kenya Kwanza. I thought that was very interesting. The story is on page 7. Counties demand millions for new governors' events. The story is on page 8. Expect little rain this week. Meteorological department says in forecast. The story is on page 10. And double tragedy as child in dad suicide mission dies in hospital. That story is on page 3, and it is such a sad story, very sad, and Kenyans have had so much to say about this unfortunate incident. So that is what we have on the front pages of the leading newspapers in the country. Let's see what else we have from across the continent and outside. The Daily News from Zimbabwe. Parties ought to be enrolled. That is according to Zimbabwe's Election Commission, says this will deter fly-by-night organizations. Okay, so parties in Zimbabwe are not enrolled. I guess they're not registered or something. I'm not sure what the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission they're saying. And Newsday from Zimbabwe as well. Zim poll fees too costly. And then the Daily Telegraph from the UK. EU feared to be losing will to back Ukraine. And the Guardian from the UK as well. Fury as grain giants profit from unjust hunger crisis. Okay, and then the Nation from Nigeria. PDP crisis. Stop bragging, Lamido. tells Wike supporters, and ASUU plans indefinite strike. That is the Association of the Universities in Nigeria, I suppose. So they are planning an indefinite strike, and they have been in strike from the beginning of, I think, this year, somewhere thereabout. The Guardian from Nigeria still, Wike raises stake, leads PDP governors to meet Tinubu. News Vision from Uganda, 4,000 science teachers miss new salary. And then, why the science teachers? Okay, so the Daily Monitor also from Uganda, government officials arrested for stealing PDM cash. And then the Citizen from Tanzania, census off to a good start. Tanzania is having its census. That is an exercise that is meant to last for the next 1 week. It started on Monday, and President Samia Suluhu led the country in that important exercise. They have their census every 10 years, even for us here. I think we had ours in 2019, and so Tanzania had the last census in 2012, so it's carrying out its census right now, and from the reports, everything is going on well. Very well, thank you so much. You are now up to date, and a very good morning to you. I'm joined by Kiptanui Savania from Nakuru County. Kiptanui, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Mogutu, at our headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning, my brother Jepan. Good morning, Dr. David. My brother Douglas Gladwell. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are watching from. Okay. Miriam, it is indeed, it's indeed a great Wednesday here in Nakuru City. There is no, the weather today is cool. We are grateful, Miriam. And thank you so much for having me this morning on this great show.
All right.
Thank you.
Very much welcome. The weather out here is also beautiful, and indeed it's a beautiful day to be alive today. And yes, I'm sharing those good vibes with you this morning. Thank you so much, Jevan Karanja. A very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to our viewers and my friend Kiptanui. It's a pleasure being on Punchline Africa Television. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So let's just get into it. And, Chebukati's mathematics is refusing to math, and every now and then I think that will become even a main subject at the Supreme Court. But before we get into those figures, let's look at the latest political developments, and that is on page 7 on the Star newspaper. An outgoing Makueni governor, Kivutha Kibwana, has become the latest prominent figure in Azimio la Umoja to defect to President-elect William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza alliance. Kibwana was received by Ruto at the Deputy President's current residence in Nairobi yesterday. Last month, Kibwana admitted there have been some small political differences among Azimio leaders from Ukambani. He was, however, quick to state that they had put aside their differences. Ruto said Kibwana had joined the Kenya Kwanza's legal team and will be defending his win in petitions filed on Monday at the Supreme Court. We associate with the leadership that Kibwana has manifested in agreeing to work with us in furthering our country's development agenda. He will join the Kenya Kwanza legal team in the ongoing presidential election petition, he said in a tweet. The defection came 4 days after Raila Odinga's running mate Martha Karua said Ruto was illegally wooing Azimio members to his camp. Are you surprised by Kibwana's move, and will it make any difference right now? He is an outgoing governor of Makueni. Kiptanui.
Miriam, good morning once again. I was also surprised to see a respected Professor Kibwana is a very respected man in Makueni and all over the country, Miriam. But it is so sad for the person who respect, the person who stood for integrity, to join the people, Miriam, who have squandered and who have actually misappropriated funds in this country, Miriam. And it is not good. It is not good. It is not new news, Miriam. We've seen so many people joining that camp, and I am tempted, Miriam, to say that it is not coincident. There are a lot of cash transfers, a lot of money, or a lot of influence, Miriam. And I don't know, Miriam, why is it that people in this country are so hypocrites, Miriam? Today you speak, you say it is Monday. Tomorrow you say it is Wednesday. Miriam, it is high time for us. It is high time for us politicians and for us Kenyans, Miriam, to express a lot of morality, to stand as you. Miriam, even if one day you stood alone to be counted, let us you can stand alone to be counted. Miriam, what will happen now that we were together with Chibwana last time before general elections, Miriam, and I'm told he has a lot of difference with Kalonzo, Miriam. Yesterday and previous day we said Miriam Kalonzo has a lot of influence in Ukambani, and we congratulate them, Miriam, for bringing these votes to this Azimio, Miriam. It might not make a lot of impact. It might not make a lot of impact, Miriam, at this moment that we already have the Ukambani votes. But there is something which is ringing on my mind on the daily basis when I see these people cross, and it seems they are crossing, Miriam, in preparation for, so that in case kutakuwa na rano, maybe the president-elect who comes actually from the UDA party, Miriam, will get a lot of numbers. And I think it is a preparation to show what Kibwana will be showing the world. So you wake up as a professor and defend impunity. And that is very wrong, Miriam. Miriam, Kibwana might not be remembered by good things that he did in Makueni, Miriam, but he will be remembered to be the professor who actually stood to defend the impunity, who actually stood to defend the stolen votes. Miriam, if I was to look at Kibwana, I could have read the signs of the end times, Miriam. Miriam, you see, as we are moving with this show, you'll realize that these numbers of Chebukati are not even adding up. But the kind of people who are moving to join William Ruto, Miriam, I don't know whether he's buying them or what is the problem. But at the end of the day, we are going to know where is the problem. If it is differences in Ukambani, Miriam, of becoming a kingpin of Ukambani. You know, Miriam, different. You know, you've been in politics. You've been a professor. You've been in a governor for 10 years. You've been praised. People are so happy that Makueni is moving well. Miriam, Makueni also is one of the counties which I think it was being the piloting for universal health coverage. You see, now this young man, Miriam, who is coming in, Mutula Kilonzo, will come even and he might even be the kingpin of Makueni rather than the Msegibwana, who Miriam was so praised as the governor who has done a lot. So, in a nutshell, Miriam, whatever Kibwana has achieved will be erased because of joining the people who have low moral issues. How can you go and Miriam and the courts have actually asked him to provide 200 million? It is a sad day for Professor Kibwana. It is a sad day for this country, Miriam. Isa, please.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, Kitonu believes that is a sad day for Professor Kibwana, and of course, it could be because after these elections, and we saw the number of votes that Raila got from Ukambani region, Kalonzo seems to have taken all the glory, and for the Kibwanas who were there from the get-go in Azimio's camp might not have been very happy with that, because maybe they feel like their efforts are not fully appreciated, and Kalonzo seems to have taken all the praises, from the votes and the turnout from Ukambani region. Jevan Karanja, are you surprised by Kibwana's move, and will this impact anything at this point?
Thank you very much, Miriam. I'm not surprised by the move by Professor Kivutha Kibwana to join Kenya Kwanza, because initially, even before he came to Azimio, there were rumors in the town that he was headed to Kenya Kwanza. Therefore, I'm not surprised, and there's nothing new in politics, because we have pre- and post-election agreement. Therefore, this is part of our democracy, and it's something that we need to embrace, that having divergent views is not a crime.
But
it's something that...
Hold on. Sorry, let me just stop you there, because there is his party is part of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, fine, and there is post-election agreements that we have, and the constitution allows that. But what about the proper legal procedures to get your party out of the coalition you're in, and then make an agreement with another coalition? There is a way to go about it.
I agree, Miriam. There's a way to go about it, and there's a constitutional and the law, the legal framework that is put in place to enable such kind of an event to take place. But Miriam, in this country, We don't respect our political parties, and I will not blame Kivutha Kibwana until we have functional political parties that are not individualized, political parties that stand for something and that are founded on basics of the rule of law. Look at what is happening now. We have members of parliament who are elected under Azimio through UPIA party and the UDM in northern part of Kenya. Today they have jump shipped to Azimio, to Kenya Kwanza, and there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing Azimio can do to stop them from that massive crossover to Kenya Kwanza. That means in our laws are not functional. That is why our members of parliament can act with total disregard to the rule of law, because there's nothing that bars them. There's nothing that will stop them. There's no consequences for doing that. We have seen in the outgoing Jubilee administration, William Ruto having a government inside a government that is opposing a government that he was elected to lead. And there's nothing the president of the day and the Jubilee party did. We had members of parliament who were elected at the Jubilee party forming a party called the UDA, and they went ahead to oppose the government that they are part of. How will we blame Kivutha Kibwana? How will we blame the UDM members of parliament when they do the same? Until Miriam, and these are, I will emphasize, until we have functional political parties, because what we have in these countries are political parties that the vision bearer, the person who carries the party, if the person is not is incapacitated, is not in a capacity to steer ahead this political party, they scramble and they die. Therefore, Miriam, I see nothing wrong with Kivutha Kibwana going to Kenya Kwanza. The problem is, as a professor, maybe he should show the people who are behind him what needs to be done and following the legal frameworks, the legal procedural requirements, so that maybe he can do it in a decent way. But what he did is enshrined in his right, and I think it's high time the people who are going to Kenya Kwanza and William Ruto, if he speaks of United Democratic Alliance, the UDA, he should make the D in the UDA to stand and to be a noun, not just a verb. It should be a doing word. So at the end of the day, we need to see the democratic word in the UDA being functional, so that when he talks, he gets these members of parliament to his side, he'll ask them to follow the requisite law procedural requirement. And that is how we will grow our democracy. But things of just coming, invading others people's territory, killing the entity and just going scot-free, I think is something that our parliamentarians and the owner of the Kenyans political parties, they need to look onto. And if Miriam will not be able to work on their political parties and to strengthen their political party, then we should not be blaming the people like Kivutha Kibwana when they move to the other side. Yeah. But all said and done, Miriam, we know what is happening in Ukambani. We know the sibling rivalry in Ukambani between Mutua, Cheritingilu, Kivutha Kibwana, and Kalonzo Musyoka. And I think Kivutha Kibwana, him not getting his senatorial seat, maybe not delivering to Azimio as it was anticipated, I think he is going to Kenya Kwanza to rejuvenate his political career, which almost heading to an oblivion. I think he's just being smart and tactful as he moves, and he just trying to see which side will maybe give a kickstart to his almost dying political career, because in Azimio there was nothing much that he can do. But him going to Kenya Kwanza, he is the man who is making headlines today. Everybody is talking about Kivutha Kibwana. I think he was just looking to a place where he can trend, and people remember that we still have a professor who
So you're saying he's just saying relevance. That's what I'm hearing you to be saying.
Yeah, he is just looking for a place where he can he can polish his political career and look smart and maybe get some few things here and there, because maybe in his back of his mind he is thinking, by William Ruto being the president-elect, maybe he is thinking by default he might be the next head of state. I think he's just looking for greener pastures, not necessarily for the interest. He is not there for the interest of the Ukambani people. Right. It's just for his own interest.
Okay.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, that is the nature of our politics. Douglas Kidemi, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to my friend Jevan Karanja, Kitanui Savenia, to our crew at our headquarters, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. And thank you for having me on the show, Miriam.
All right, nice to have you. So yesterday, Kivutha Kibwana ditched Azimio to join Kenya Kwanza, and as much as perhaps Kivutha Kibwana's case might be different from these just freshly elected members of parliament and other politicians who left Azimio and went to Kenya Kwanza. For Kivutha Kibwana, he was not seeking for any elective seat. He served for his second and last term as the governor of Makueni, and now we do have a new governor waiting to be, to be inaugurated. I think on Friday, a lot of these swearing-ins will be taking place. But for those who ditched Azimio just immediately after the elections and went and joined Kenya Kwanza, and perhaps the people who voted for them did not necessarily vote for them as individuals, but because they were in the Azimio coalition, are they shortchanging their voters, and should they be recalled so that they can relinquish their positions and seek for a new mandate through their preferred, political vehicle? And as well, you can tell me what you think about, Kibwana's ditching Azimio camp.
Thank you, Miriam. I believe under it, the registrar of political parties gave a mind over the same, and also shot a warning to members of parliament, MCA, senators, and also governors who are ditching their own political formations or coalitions to join other coalitions. I believe also from the deepest part of my heart, a time has come for us to call the law, and also to uphold the rule of law in this country. If the rule of law says that we should uphold this and this and that, it is supposed to be so. There is no shortcut about it. And in the end, when the push comes to the shove, we need to be able to come and also make sure that as a country, we obey the laws that are in place. And also, when it comes to the position of these people who want to go and join Kenya Kwanza, they should be able, their positions should be able to be quashed so that they can now go and join Kenya Kwanza, UDA, and then seek a fresh mandate. It has come to a point where, as a country, we should be able to allow the law to take its course. When the law says that if you join another political party, when you join another coalition, you cease to become a member of parliament, or you cease to become a member of a county assembly, or you cease to become a senator or a governor. That is the law. And a time has come for us to be able to embrace the same, do what we can, and be able to put the law in its own place. And at the end of the day, when these people continue doing so, like Javan was saying, I came in when he was explaining a point, but these are the same people who are going to give impetus to the next deputy presidents of this country, who are opposing the same government. Nothing was, there was no action that was taken against them. And in the end, we are the people, or we are the country that had no clear direction except from the president. Because even opposition, people could not know whether they were in government, except that we had a president who was functioning in his own office as the president of the Republic of Kenya. People in government, like those who support William Ruto, did not know whether they're in opposition or whether they're in government. Now, when it comes to the newly elected legislators, we need to also ask these MPs and also senators and also governors, which way shall they choose? A time has come for us to choose on the way that we shall go. Are we going the way of Kenya Kwanza? Let's go that way. Are we going and sticking to the way of Azimio? If you are in Azimio, stay there. If you are in Kenya Kwanza, stay there. Some of them, one of them will be in opposition, and another one will be in government. If you choose to be in government, please let your position be quashed by the law so that you can go and seek a fresh mandate for you to become better in the way that you have chosen. And if you are in Azimio, please stick to Azimio so that we can even have a functional democracy. We cannot have a democracy where we disobey the rule of law, we disobey the laws of the land, and in the end, we want to also now become better, or we become beneficiaries of Kenya Kwanza, whereas we are in Azimio initially. which we would have made that decision before. And for Kivutha Kibwana, it is bad political manners for you to also, when you are defeated in a political contest, now you want to run away from Azimio and tell the world that Azimio was not good. But you had a whole year or 6 months for you to have shifted to Kenya Kwanza. For him, it was about political survival, and that's why people have also said that in Kenya, politics has no morality because of people like Kivutha Kibwana. I have a huge problem with him.
Okay.
The same people, Miriam, who are now turning these issues to be a laughing stock. As a country, we have an opportunity to correct this mess. As a country, we have an opportunity to now tame our political leaders and become better as a country. For Kivutha Kibwana, I have nothing to write home, but I feel bad that a leader of his caliber would keep hiding in Azimio for him to be elected. If you're not elected, you run away to Kenya Kwanza. And for people who aspire to be like Kivutha Kibwana, a time has come for you to also know that this is the way that you shall be able to choose. If you are in Kenya Kwanza, please stick there. If you are in Azimio, stick there. Or you can choose to join William Ruto before elections or join Raila Odinga before elections. Because for Kivutha Kibwana, we now know his true political colors. Before, people were saying that he was in Kenya Kwanza and he would deny. Now he has also shown that he was in Kenya Kwanza all along. What he was doing, he wanted to be politically correct at the ballot so that he would not be seen opposing Azimio or Kalonzo Musyoka in Ukambani. But all you know, when he was in Azimio, people rejected him after 10 years as their governor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. On to other matters, of course, political, because that is what we have in all the leading newspapers. And wrong start as counties to spend millions for befitting inauguration. Many incoming governors are set to start off on wrong foot after revelations emerged that millions of shillings will be splashed in their swearing-in ceremonies on Thursday. In what heralds the continuation of wastage of taxpayers' money in the counties, some counties intend to spend in excess of 20 million Kenya shillings in the events. Many counties have been on the spot of a wanton wastage, misappropriation of public funds. The Star has established that while some counties have requested modest cash for the event, others are seeking huge amounts to give their new bosses befitting inauguration. In the requisitions made to the Controller of Budget, some devolved units are seeking as much as 22 million Kenya shillings for an event that is expected to run for a maximum of 4 hours. This is wrong footing indeed. Kiptanui, the matter of public wastage of money. This just shows.
Thank you. Thank you. Shame on us. Miriam, we've been crying all the way because there is no Medicaid, there is no drugs in these counties. Workers have not been paid. There are a lot of problems, Miriam, and yet we are spending almost 20 million for inauguration, Miriam. We are done. We are done. This country, we are done. I think the most problem is corruption. Corruption has actually come. Miriam, you might be surprised that out of 22 million or 20 million that will be spent, almost half of it will go to somebody's pocket, Miriam. What is so special in those inaugurations? What is so special? Why don't we pick this governor, we take them to the county assembly, it is sworn in like the way we do for this member of parliament, Miriam, and it is done. So this is an avenue. I'm not even happy because of that. That is an avenue of corruption. I think the organizers themselves, Miriam, are the same cartels. The organizers are the ones they are spoiling these things. How can you organize an event of 4 hours, Miriam, like in Nandi County or like in Nakuru County? And then you tell us I'm not in a position to pay my workers for the last 3 months. Is it surely sensible? It is not sensible, Miriam. I condemn with all the effort that I have. Thank you.
Very well. Because, as Kiptano, you've mentioned, they do have the county assemblies, so it's just a matter of walking in there. They're not even paying for holding that event there. And then being sworn in. Like, what is the big, why do anybody need 20 million Kenya shillings for a swearing in of a governor, Javan?
Miriam, even if that is too small for this country, they need to use more, around 2 billion, because we as Kenyans, we have made this country a laughing stock.
I want to believe that is a joke. Okay.
It's on a lighter note, but Miriam, seriously, 20 million just for ceremony, swearing in. you are being sworn in to take power, to lead and to govern your people, and to execute and to deliver what you promised them during your campaign, and to open that new phase of life. You are just using 20 million, Miriam. That means if they can use 20 million just for inauguration ceremony, that means more money will be used in other unnecessary events and unnecessary project that will not benefit the people of these respective counties. Because I see no need of using 20 million to inaugurate a governor, whereas in that county we have people who don't have water, we have poor roads, we have poor ECD classrooms and so on. I think as a country we have a long way to go to clean all these mess that we have in our electoral system, in our governance system, so that we can really speak of a country and a county where we can focus on the people, where the priority will be focused on the people. And Miriam, at the end of the day, I think we to reach a point in this country, and I think these leaders are too lenient on us. They need to eat everything so that Kenyans maybe through the pain of hardship of life and the economy, maybe they can open their eyes and see what a country they are living for generations to come. Because I think what they are stealing, Miriam, is too lenient. That is why we are still electing them back to office, because it is like they are doing us a favor when they steal from us. I think it's high time that we encourage our politicians to go and eat everything they find in these offices. Maybe that is the only way we can have our sense back. But all said and done, Miriam, I think this is too bad. This is not how it should be done. And I think we need to see people. I don't know where those activists who used to see on the street demonstrate when things were going bad in this country, where they went, where they ran to. Because at the end of the day, we need a country, we need people, we need to deliver services. Because I think the purpose of having a government is for the people to benefit, is for the people, because, Miriam, we cannot build roads ourselves, but our taxes can. That is why we have a government to execute that, but not to eat the small that we are getting, not to eat what we are paying as taxes. I think this should not be even a topic of discussion. I think this is too bad. But Miriam, these are the same governors who we have seen asking for serious retirement packages. Therefore, we as a country, Miriam, I think, and one man said that the leaders that we have in a country or a county are a true reflection of the voters. Therefore, at the end of the day, these people are just a sample of who we are as a nation. Therefore, even if that is how they can do, that is how you find even Kenyans in their small positions, even the church committees, in school committees, that is how they eat from those who are not in position. Therefore, in this country, positions are not meant for development or to bring development to the people. Positions are an entity to enrich oneself. Until we do away with that mentality, until we clean that mentality, that leadership is a privilege to develop and to better the livelihoods of your people, we have a long way to go, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, confirmed that she has received several requisitions, approved some and rejected others because they are unimaginable. There is a county that asked for 250,000 Kenya shillings, that is Kirinyaga County. Then there are others that asked for just about 1 million Kenya shillings. Those we have approved. However, there are others that I have asked to go back and rationalize their budgets because they're a bit high. How can a county ask for 20 million? So if one county is able to have its budget at 250,000 Kenya shillings, another one at 1 million, then another one at 20 million, and another one at 22 million. If a county can have its budget for this inauguration for 250,000 and another one for 1 million, I think then it's let us give them the lower. So that means 250,000 Kenya shillings should be enough, because this is an event that is expected, according to our constitution, to take place from the swearing in from between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., just about 4 hours. So why are we spending all these monies, Douglas?
Thank you, Miriam. I believe also these inauguration ceremonies that the governors are holding are also they are also rewarding their cronies with the luncheons, dinners, and trying to splash public funds in these parties when they can sit down and get down to work. If your work is to just wake up from your house, wear some nice clothes, pick the Bible, so you get sworn in by a judge of the High Court or Court of Appeal, and then your deputy also takes the oath of office, and then you leave the ceremony, then go have lunch at your house. That would be better, like Anne Waiguru is doing. Because if you factor in what Anne Waiguru is asking, 250,000, that is enough money for just buying tents, making sure that the sound system is okay, and making sure that Anne Waiguru gets to the destination where she's getting sworn in. And 250,000 is a reasonable amount of money for any serious person that is running a county and that would want to have these mechanisms put in place. For example, there are people who are seeking to make money from the decorations from those events. There are people who are seeking to make money from food that will be served in those events. But also, I believe also, there are people who are seeking, like Iptanu was saying, or Jevan, there are people who are seeking to siphon public funds from those inauguration ceremonies. But I believe, from my perspective, this is also a time that we shall see. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, Control of Budget should give us a list of counties that is splashed public funds in these events. People who are running their campaigns based on a platform of anti-corruption. People who are saying that they are going to also make sure that they put in place measures that will be able to curb misuse of public funds. This is where we shall know that these people were wolves in the sheep's skin, who wanted to just get into office and continue the rooting spree of the former regimes in their various counties. But also, we need to also understand that there are people in those transitional committees who are misleading these governors in running this FT or maybe expensive inauguration ceremonies. But a governor that cares about the people, that money is enough to be able to. That money is enough to be able to take care of any need that is in the county, maybe bursaries, maybe boards, something that maybe buying medicine for some dispensaries where the promised residents at your hospitals will have medicine in the first week or the second week of my administration. But I believe from also another perspective is that they are going to correct those wrongs into going forward into the future, especially those whose their requisitions were denied by the Control of Budgets. But as a country, for us to move forward, we need to also take care of basics. We need to also tell the public that when you get into office, you are not going to hold parties for them using public funds. Like Waiguru, I believe there is no party that is going to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen at our own cost or cost of our friends and the family. But for us as a country, we need to also depart from the issue of big celebrations. When the president is being sworn in, big celebrations, counties, big celebrations and all that. It's a matter of getting sworn in according to the law and going home or going back to the office to continue working for the people that sent you there. Because corruption, that is where is bred from. That is where corruption is bred. For the next 4 years now, we shall have a field day with corruption profiteers and corruption cartels taking hostage of these counties and making sure that a continuous misuse of public funds is effected, because they were perfected corruption since day one, actually, before they got into office. And I believe that the people of Kenya, and especially the Control of Budget, will also be able to curb this appetite for public resources so that we can go forward, so that we can be able to grow our counties, so that we can be able to grow our local economies, and so that our country will experience true transformation, so that we shall not become a laughing stock after 10 years. We have a governor in Turkana, Mr. Josephat Nanok, who has gone out of his way to make sure that he has been able to siphon public funds, and he has actually gone out of his way to siphon of 100 billion from donor funding, and also counties from the allocation that was sent to counties. We have a governor in Samburu that is leaving office, Moses Kasainere Nakoral, who has actually received billions of shillings, and he has not developed their own county. Machakos the same, and many other places, Miriam. And when you look at what these people have been able to do, it is they have retro to right home compared to the billions of shillings that they have been able to receive for their counties. For Machakos, it has been full of drama. Mutua public events full of teleprompters and also cameras around the way and so many other things. And in the end, when we, the people of Kenya, have an opportunity to have people like Mutua, Governor Kasaine, Governor Nakoran, and they do not develop their places, you wonder why they spend so much of public funds to be able to come to the fore and then claim that they would develop their counties, but they would not develop their counties. And remember, for governors who are being sworn in tomorrow, good speeches do not make better counties. Good speeches do not bring water to dispensaries. Good speeches would not be able to take care of mother and child health care in your counties, in referral hospitals. Good speeches tomorrow will not be able to pay health workers who have had their strikes and also threatening to strike again. I believe in the end, there is no way and there is no time. We, the people of Kenya, are going to benefit from the beautiful speeches from tomorrow. Get sworn in, get to work, and develop your county the best way you know possible. And then after 5 years, we shall be able to judge you by the scorecard of what you have delivered to the people of your county, not beautiful speeches tomorrow funded by huge taxes from the people of Kenya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now let's move on to other matters. And still staying with the Star newspaper on page 8. Three Kenyans have rushed to the High Court seeking to declare a section of the law allowing the Supreme Court to declare the winner of a presidential election after a recount of the votes cast unconstitutional. Ashford Cole Membogo, Michael Ochieng, and Eric Uthinji say the provision is unconstitutional and offends the principle of independence of the electoral agency. They say the section is unconstitutional to the extent that it purports to confer powers on an election court to issue an order to the IEBC to issue a certificate of election to a petitioner or losing presidential candidate upon recount of the ballot cast. We will be seriously prejudiced if the Supreme Court proceeds to pronounce itself on such petitions without the benefit of a constitutional interpretation of Section 80, subsection 4A by the court. The court documents read. So far, 9 petitions have been filed at the Supreme Court by various parties, among them Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga. So there is a provision of the law that allows, if at all the court orders for a recount, and then the winner, through the recount, we're able to see who clearly got the majority of the votes, and if at all they met the threshold according to our constitution of 50+1, then the High Court, the Supreme Court in this regard, not the High Court, the Supreme Court can declare him a winner, and then IEBC will be compelled to issue this person with a certificate. And so these 3 Kenyans have gone to court and said, no, this is unconstitutional, and maybe we shall be usurping powers from the IEBC. But that is what the Constitution says, Kiptanui.
Miriam, for us to actually agree with all the 3 Kenyans, we need to change the Constitution. Whatever it is written in the Constitution, you cannot alter unless go for referendum, Miriam. So in a nutshell, it is actually the law which says, in case we do a recount and Miriam, you won and I had won, you're supposed to be given a certificate. So I cannot see them succeeding because this is it is constitutional, and at the end of the day, Miriam, we need a referendum so that we change some clauses in this constitution. And when we call for BBI, people refused. But you can see now what is happening, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay, very short and precise. I was just having my water. Thank you so much. Captain Nui, the petitioners are saying this provision of the law is unconstitutional. So how can something be unconstitutional and yet it is part of the Constitution, is part of the supreme law of the land?
Miriam,
are we losing the meaning of, yes?
Most of these petitions are sponsored. Even this one of Moses Kuria is being sponsored. These people have seen the possibility that maybe their side of position which were actually supporting. You see, Miriam, before these people rushes to court, they might have seen something that maybe at the end of the day when we do a recount, candidate X will win at the end of the day against candidate Y. So Miriam, you cannot say it is unconstitutional when it is in constitution. At the end of the day, Miriam, even Moses Kuria, I was surprised when I heard that Moses Kuria also was rushing to Supreme Court instead of starting from the lower courts, Miriam, to declare that somebody like Raila Odinga caused chaos through his agents at the bombers of Kenya. Miriam, there are some things which these lawyers are reading on these petitions, and they might have seen things are not turning well. Miriam, let us follow the Constitution. The Constitution tells us if you cannot agree to presidential results, go to the court. And they told us if you go to the courts, we are no longer demonstrating along the road and sitting on Lami, but we went to court. So let the Supreme Court continue with what they will be doing. Their ruling will be final. If it will be recount, if William Ruto won fairly, it will be better. If Raila Odinga won fairly, let them be given their certificates and continue developing this country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I had to literally go Google this because I thought, okay, am I the one missing the definition of something being unconstitutional? And according to Merriam-Webster, it means not according to or agreeing with the constitution of a country or a government. This provision is in the constitution, so how can they say it is unconstitutional? Javan.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And we are in a very, very critical moment as a country, crucial moment as a nation, where we need to ensure that our constitution is protected. We must protect it from these politicians who want to mutate our constitution and to amputate it so that they can have their way. Because this is not the right time. Because where were they 5 years prior to the election? Did they know that we had an article or a provision in our constitution that says that the Supreme Court can order a recount of the votes and declare the winner? Where are these people coming from, Kenya Kwanza? What are they afraid of? Because at the end of, do they know, are they making a pre-assumption or a speculation that at the end of the day, the Supreme Court will annul their win, and maybe after recount, Raila Amolo Odinga will declare the winner? What are they telling us? There is more than meets the eye. There's more that need to be unearthed from what they are saying. Because why now? Why the rush now at the last minute? Because if it's about protecting the constitution, it should be a process that is continuous. It's not something that should be happen instantly. It's something that need to be. I know constitution is a living document. It's dynamic. Yeah, it keeps on changing. But you cannot pretend to care much about our constitution and its provision when there's already a case, a petition that you see it will not favor you. If we work like that, everybody will be rushing to our courts saying that this part is not constitution because someone else is taking them to court and they think what their case or what the petition will affect them. That should not be the case. I think we have a responsibility as Kenyans to protect our constitution from any form of damage, from any form of engulfment that will come from these politicians. Because at the end of the day, we must detach politics from the rule of law and from the judiciary. Judiciary should run its affair independently. And at the end of the day, we Kenyans, we are the strongest, we are the big shareholders when it comes to protecting our constitution. Because without the constitution, this country will be ungovernable. So I see ill motive on this, ill motive on what the member of parliament, Silvana Sosoro, Moses Kuria, and others are intending to bring on table, because at the end of the day, it's about protecting their political welfare. It's not about protecting the people of this country. I think that is something that should not be a distraction from what the Supreme Court has already on the table because they have a case to deliver. They have to deal with the electoral systems. And this is about petition. And that is so maybe why our constitution is very clear that presidential petition should be taken to the Supreme Court, not these other junior courts. And I think that is very clear. So if they have an issue with the constitution, they can start at the High Court and seek interpretations before they come to the Supreme Court. Thank you.
Okay. And of course, the 3 Kenyans who have rushed to the High Court seeking to declare the section of the law allowing the Supreme Court to declare the winner presidential election did that on Monday. And the petitions, we know, are filed on Monday. And those sued are expected to have filed their responses by Saturday. And of course, the 3 that went to court, the High Court with this, are Ashford, Michael, and Githinji. And the 3 Kenyans say the IEBC and Ruto will be directly affected by the determination of the court. The court has not even sat down and started looking at this case or hearing this case. So how can they just assume that this case, because from the assumption, it appears as though Ruto is supposed to lose this case. I mean, the court has not even started listening to this case. So is it premature, Douglas?
Those are premature outbursts that will be dismissed by the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya. Remember, Miriam, these election petitions can only be had at the Supreme Court, including when you have nothing to say. The complaints from anyone has to reach the Supreme Courts, and their prayers should be listened by the Supreme Court, and not necessarily that it should drag for the period that is supposed to, but you should be listened to in any court. For example, if I appear at the High Court in Meru today or in Nyeri challenging the election results as a petitioner, as a voter for the senatorial and also gubernatorial and also the MP seat and also actually the MCA seat that is supposed to be challenged at the High Court, I have every right to appear there and also raise my prayers to the court and also raise my complaints that the court shall sit down and also listen to me, and also that the court shall give its directions concerning the case. Are they going to listen to the case to the end? Are they going to dismiss my case? But being listened to is my constitutional right, and the court listening to me is their right as a court. It is their responsibility. Actually, it's not a right. It is their responsibility. It's part of their job. It's part of the job of the Honorable Martha Koome, the President of the Supreme Court, to listen to every presidential petition that is brought to the table or that is brought to a desk, that she shall be able to assign lawyers and be able to assign a team of legal minds to be able to look at that petition, and that she shall be able to give directions about the same. So you taking a petition saying that it's going to affect Mr. William Ruto, as if this election has not affected the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate in the first place, why is he in court? So, Miriam, people should also stop taking us for granted. But it is also their right to take those frivolous and also a waste of time and an abuse of court process kind of petitions to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya. Because as Kenyans, they should be listened to. It is their right to go to the court. It is their right to petition the Supreme Court of the land so that they can be listened. But when it comes to also the Supreme Court listening to those kind of prayers and also to the kind of the frivolous kind of prayers that they are raising before the court, and also to the kind of the abuse of the court process and prayers that they raised before the Supreme Court of the land, these people also ought to be listened. But in the end, I believe from my perspective, these petitions are not going to see the light of the day because they are a waste of time and an abuse of court process. They are frivolous. And I believe, again, it's a waste of time when we, the people of Kenya, know the obvious. Okay. The very many petitions, like Kiptanui Savenia said, they are sponsored to also derail the court. But also the court is not acting in isolation. The court is not even the Honorable Martha Koome. She's just the end and the president of the judiciary and also the president of Supreme Court.
Okay.
There are many legal minds. Miriam.
We have to end now, Douglas, because we have to give way for another show, and we will continue with this conversation, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm sorry to cut you short there, but we have to end, and don't go too far. We'll be back with more conversation. A very good morning to you.